around, folks. Shit is changing. The way we do business, the way people are going to work, the way we have careers, that's all changing right in front of you right now. And I'm here to tell you that the shit you're learning ain't going to change. It's either there is no markets or everything I'm teaching you will keep fucking working. So stop worrying about that. Use the time, pour into yourself, invest in yourself. The only thing you're doing is kicking the can down the road farther and farther by you not just tearing into this saying, I'm going to do this. It's going to probably take more time than I want to, but it's okay. Because I have set a resolve in my heart, in my spirit, in my mind. I'm not changing, I'm not deviating, and a motherfucker out there can tell me that this ain't for me, because I know it is. The more somebody tells me it ain't for me, the more I'm in love with it. That just means that you can't fucking do it, and it's going to be even more better once I get there, and you get to witness it. And I don't have to rub your fucking nose into it. You're just going to see me live better body.
All right, guys. So that was today's PM session, market maker sell model. So I want to dive deep into today on what we set up for Friday. So we're going to start with daily bias here. So if we look on the daily time frame here, we can see the weekly opening price here for Monday. Okay. Now, whenever we get this swing high here, right, we have this high, and this high, right? So it's a swing high here with this pattern here. Okay. See that swing high? And then conversely, we have this swing low. Okay. So when you have this swing high here, we're going to be looking for this low to be taken. So you can see here we swept it slightly and then we drove higher. So now we have this swing low. So this 3 candle pattern, the last 3 days here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to be looking for this third candle. We're looking for this high to be broken on Friday. Okay. So we've been bullish. If we look at market structure, we came and we filled in, tapped these areas of volume imbalance still here on Tuesday and drove higher, right? So whenever you have this swing low here, this low, and here, that swing low, okay? The third candle, the closure, we're going to be looking for that to be broken. So the draw on liquidity higher, if you look here, we have an inefficiency in here. These candle wicks overlapping here. There's no candle bodies in here on the daily time frame. So this is your draw on liquidity for the daily. So our bias is bullish, right, on the higher time frame. But we can look at this from a weekly profile, okay? So talking about Friday's trading, we have to build a narrative and a context, right? So Friday, if we look at a weekly profile here, I will pull this up on, let's see. Pull it up on the Discord here. So if you look here, you can see Monday, Tuesday, right, creates the low of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, we're bullish. weekly objective here. And then Friday, we want to see a reversal back down, right? So coming into Thursday and Friday, we want to see our weekly objective be met, which is this volume imbalance higher, right? And we want this buy side on the daily to be swept, right? So if we drop down to the hourly chart, we can see this is that buy side from the daily here being swept, right? We have a market profile of Tuesday, low of the week, and we're creating higher prices, right? So we go to, if we go forward here, go into Thursday's trading. So Thursday we broke through and tapped into this volume imbalance here from the daily time frame, right? We're then tapping into some fair value gaps in the form of SIBIs here on the hourly, okay? So if we look at this chart, we want to be above the weekly opening price for this to also be high probability. So on ES, you can see here, weekly opening price, we're coming above it. We come into Asia. So here on the hourly, we can see this 1 hour bearish for value gap, okay? We also had news this morning, right? So news, we dumped into 8 a.m., 8:30, and we had this 1 hour and a 4 hour, or there's a couple 1 hours higher time frame PD raise here and here that we dumped into. Okay, so these are bullish PD raise. And this is all leading up to this afternoon's trade, just so we don't lose any context here. So you can see we dropped heavily here, 9 a.m. into 9:30. We dropped down to the 15-minute time frame. You can see 9:30 opening. Here we drop heavily from the news. We have this small retracement into this 15-minute gap. We tap just above the weekly opening, and we use midnight opening price, which is this purple line there at midnight opening price as resistance, and then we drop lower, right? We have some sell side. This was the daily buy side, right? This was that daily buy side. So we can get rid of that. And now we have some sell side internally here and also down here. Okay, so we have a trend line phantom here. You can see we break that, go even lower, and then we start to retrace higher. Okay, now I've been sick this week, so I didn't get up this morning to trade the AM, especially with all this news. I wanted to wait to see what the morning profile would give me for the afternoon, right? So here on the 15-minute chart, we can see it comes up into this 15-minute fair value gap again, even higher. And I want to get to the PM session here. Okay, so as you can see, we break above during lunch into this 15-minute, and then we drop lower, right? So we're creating some liquidity here in lunch, right? Tapped into this buy side fair value gap. But now we have some engineered liquidity here, right? So we have the lunch highs. And if we look, we have relatively equal highs here and here, even though it's slightly just this little trend line slightly. We have buy side there. And then also retail, traditional retail would want to see this as a bullish flag, right? So they're going to want to see this go higher, but then we know what happens is later in the afternoon we get a bigger push down. Okay, so retail liquidity being engineered here, and if we also look at NQ, which was very nice, we can see during the lunch we had very clear. Go here. Oh. Move this out of the way for right now, but very clear equal highs here. You can see this high in here, and we also had these equal highs in here, right? So lots of liquidity built up during lunch. So we took the sell side liquidity under here and here, dipped into the 15-minute. There was a 30-minute gap as well. We just tapped into slightly and then ran higher to take out the lunch liquidity, which was very nice. We look on ES, we can see, go back to the 15-minute. Where we were in here. So we run the buy side liquidity. We tap back into this 1 hour fair value gap. Let's go forward again. And then we start to dump lower. Now, this is where NQ was a little bit better, I liked, because we had this 15-minute PD array, okay? So, drop down to 5-minute, 1 minute. Now, that being said, we're looking at this, right, Friday being bearish. So, we can see the consolidation in here from lunch, right? This shaded area here from 12 to 1 is the lunchtime hour. And we had buy side liquidity resting above the lunch highs in here from 11:58. Okay, so all of this in here, this consolidation, right? If we look at this as consolidation, right? We ran the sell side down and then ran the buy side and then made the real move. Okay, so we have 2 hits of liquidity on either side of this consolidation, then we drop lower. Now, you could have traded this either way, all right? So there's 2 ways you could have traded this. Now, you have the lunch hour acting as almost like an Asian range, right? Consolidation, okay? So the typical classic Judas swing that you would normally learn for the London session, right, will be used here as the context for the lunch hour consolidation, right? So you have accumulation, right? And then you have manipulation, which means this leg down is the manipulation, taking out the sell side right here. Okay, we tap into the 30-minute higher time frame PD array here. Okay, this is a 30-minute. Ever so softly, right? So institutional order flow, very quick, very subtle drop, boom. We never break the low here. So we have a low, high, lower low, and then we start to get a change in the state of delivery here. we leave this open. And we come up and we use these highs in here as support. So you could have got in, there's a tiny little SIBI right there. But just using this as the order block in here as well, all of these down close candles, can be a buyer at the top there. Okay. So you have accumulation in lunch, manipulation down into this 30-minute, and then you have a buy market maker buy model here. Okay. So the draw on liquidity is this 15-minute fair value gap from the morning in the AM session here. Okay, so we have the AM session from 10 to 11. They got left open, okay, as an opening gap. So small hint here, opening gaps that don't get delivered to are forms of liquidity later on, right? So we had liquidity built up over lunch and liquidity left open from the news this morning and the 9:30 opening. So we come back up into this 15-minute as the draw on liquidity. Now, you could have been a buyer, like I said, here using this context as manipulation, accumulation in lunch, manipulation down, and then distribution up, right? So you have smart money reversal here off of the 30-minute time, 30-minute fair value gap here. Stay with me here. We're almost there. It's all gonna come together here. 30-minute bullish fair value gap right here. This is your order block in the form of these 3 down close candles here. We never come back to retest this fair value gap, and we drive higher, right? Could have been a buyer in here if you wanted to take out the highs here, because the buy side, again, remember, are these highs here above the lunch high. So this is the buy side liquidity, right? So we took the sell side liquidity in here. So you can be a buyer in here off of this 30-minute PD array after sell side being taken, okay? Now, on the 1-minute time frame, okay, we now have a market maker sell model. Okay, so first what we just explained was the buy model from the pre-post PM silver bullet window or kill zone. Okay, we have this buy model, which probably a lot of people took these buys, which is not wrong. This is a really nice buy. What I was waiting for, if we go into the intraday here, you can see here where I was waiting for a buy side here and sell side in the Discord. I said I would like to look for potential sells on NQ in the PM session after buy side liquidity sweep. Okay, this was at 10:48 my time this morning, but that is just before this run up. Okay, so I was waiting for this PD array. Now we remove some of this lipstick here. Okay, so sell side was purged, so we're waiting for buy side. Now we have this 30-minute, it was tapped. Okay, now this reversal area, and where we kind of have this small choppy back and forth, now becomes my original consolidation. Okay, original consolidation. We bounce and we have accumulation here. Okay, so this is where you can have your accumulation. You can be a buyer here up to buy side. So if you didn't catch the bounce here, off of the original consolidation, reaccumulation, boom. Now we tap into this 15-minute point of interest, right? So we're tapping into a higher time frame PD array. Okay. Now I wanted to see like this, right? I was waiting for us to kind of displace lower and get something down, right? So I was posting it. I want to see this make a fair value gap. Now it was very subtle, but this area here is where I started to put in entries, right? So we didn't really displace yet. We came up and I got in one position off of this volume imbalance. We came up one more time, and then this candle at 227, we got a nice bearish candle and we left this open. So this is your low risk sell. Well, actually, it's going to be probably up here on a even smaller time frame, but on the 1 minute, this is your low risk sell, and then your silver bullet is going to be this sell. So we have low risk sell here, which is where I entered in after my first entry here. I entered a second off this one, and then this is your little gap in here. And I'm looking to the left here as well, and I see this bullish fair value gap. And once we start to come below it here, I want to see everything on the left side of the curve be used as resistance as in an inverse. So I always use this magical color for inverse. So you can see we never came up to tap it because we had this silver bullet in here. So institutional entry drill, because it doesn't even come up to fill in this gap even 50%. And you could be a seller here at 240, boom, right there. Okay, so low risk sell. First distribution. I always spelled this wrong. Distribution in here, and then we have second stage distribution in here. AKA your silver bullet. Okay. Now, oh, it's not a question mark. I wanted a dash. Now, what you'll notice at the second stage distribution is you'll get speed, right? So right after this, we kind of drop one more time, but then we start aggressively right before the 250 macro. We just drop heavily, very quickly down. Okay, so at this point, everything's lining up with the bearish Friday, thank God it's Friday setup, using higher time frame daily bias into the weekly profile, then using the PM session, and we're looking at previous cycle liquidity and previous sessions. So the session we're looking at here is the lunch hour session. Okay, so we're waiting for liquidity sweep of a previous session, high or low, and then we're using that as our framework to add on top of the daily narrative. Okay, so everything lined up here for this Friday, and that's why when we tapped into this 15-minute, I wanted to wait to see this happen, right? I was waiting to see, do we just continue higher and into the PM session, back up towards the weekly opening for NQ, although ES came above here. Same principle, right? We took out the lunch highs, and then you could be a seller in the afternoon targeting the low here, and we're above the weekly opening. I just liked NQ more. Now you can target this as your sell side, which is the original consolidation low, or you can also measure down from the smart money reversal area, which would be like this high down to this low. And we can target one deviation below. Where's this low? Right there to there. It's kind of this leg in here. One deviation below. Now you can see we came a full almost 10 there, which is a full cycle, but at least one standard deviation below the original consolidation, which is right here, which is where we kind of closed and accumulated for the day before we dropped one more time. I like using this as a little tip. I like using the 5 minute. So if we use the 5 minute from this last swing high to low here, right? So this last doji bearish candle to this high, because we don't have any in here. So high to low, we can get 2.5 down, 2 to 2.5, which is perfectly lines up here with near the close of the day. So this is why I like using the 5 minute. Seems to be a good standard deviation projection. So using this high to this low, because we don't have any bearish candles in here, this is the last leg manipulation up before the reversal. So 2 to 3 standard deviations below the original consolidation here gives us pretty close to the close of the day. But you could target 2 here and be pretty safe for the sell off of this, either the low risk sell, the first distribution, or the second distribution of this market maker sell model. Okay. So I hope that's been insightful. If you're interested, get in the Discord with us, because we call this afternoon, I was calling it play-by-play. Click the link down in the description. It's still only a one-time payment for lifetime access. We'd love to have you. Yeah, until next time, guys, have an amazing weekend. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, and trade safe.